After nearly a year of silence, Lil Jeff's killer has finally spoken out, revealing what really happened that day and what the cameras missed.
I think that I was like, damn, it's 6 out there, you know? Mm-hmm. It's crazy, bro.
But here's what you probably didn't know. Someone tipped off Trap City Rob. That heads up is the only reason he was ready to stand on business that day. So who really backdoored Lil Jeff? Was it someone from the Bloodhound gang? And why did the rest of his crew just stand there, watching him get shot multiple times without ever firing back? All those questions and more finally get answered in the killer's long-awaited confession. Let's get into it. A shocking revelation and an unexpected turn of events. Lil Jeff's alleged killer, Trap City Rob, has come forward to share his side of the story, revealing what really happened that day. According to Rob, Lil Jeff left him with only one option: stand on business. If you're not familiar with the backstory, here's a quick rundown. On June 8, 2024, Bloodhound members Lil Jeff, Q50, and one other associate were actively handling business. Surveillance footage later released to the public shows Lil Jeff and his crew chasing down a rival gang member in the heart of Trap City. In the video, you can see Lil Jeff and his squad waiting inside a black SUV. As soon as their target appeared, Lil Jeff jumped out and began firing while chasing the man down. The target, wearing bright yellow shorts, ducked for cover and ran onto the front porch of a nearby building, though hit once in the chest. He kept running for his life. You could tell the Bloodhounds were serious when Lil Jeff dressed in a black Nike hoodie and gray. Joggers charged straight onto the porch. But here's what's strange. His crew didn't follow. They stayed by the SUV, shooting at the car that had dropped off the target. Then, everything changed. As Lil Jeff approached the porch, gunfire erupted from the alley. Shots rang out, and Lil Jeff was caught in the middle with no backup. His crew was too far to help. They watched as someone inside the house opened fire and dropped him. From another angle, you can hear a barrage of bullets. Shockingly, Lil Jeff's crew at the SUV didn't duck or take cover. These shots were aimed at Lil Jeff while he was already on the ground. His homies stood by, only letting off a few shots toward the house, likely realizing he had already been hit multiple times. Then, they ran back to the SUV, waiting for the chance to pick up his body. Police later confirmed that many shell casings were found near the porch door, suggesting Lil Jeff was stood over and finished off as he tried to take cover behind a pillar. That same pillar also blocked his crew's line of sight, leaving them unable or unwilling to help during the crossfire. What happened next is even more intense. The shooter allegedly jumped off the porch and started firing at Lil Jeff's crew, chasing them back toward the SUV. One of them, believed to be Q50, was seen limping, likely hit in the foot. A Reddit user even pointed this out after spotting it in the footage. They lowered their guns in disbelief, the user wrote. Like Damor, big homie, just got stood over in front of us. Then they snapped back into reality and started shooting. But by then it was too late. Lil Jeff had been shot almost 19 times, including in the chest. The video shows him collapsing. His crew eventually circled back, picked up his body, and drove him to the hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Another online user confirmed this, saying the hospital records show Lil Jeff was dropped off by his friends in a black SUV. Quick search of the scene's address on Google Maps shows everything lines up. A silver Jeep is parked across from the SUV, likely where the surveillance camera caught the footage. Panning the map reveals the spot where the getaway SUV was waiting. Although Trap City, Rob had stayed quiet and kept a low profile since the shooting, he finally confessed in an interview with Block to Block. He admitted to being the shooter. Rob's confession not only confirms what many already suspected, but it also sheds new light on what the surveillance footage missed: a full picture of the chaos, betrayal, and fatal consequences of that day.
Damn. Okay, so is there anything about that case you want to clear up and just touch about, bro? Because I see you got a whole different perspective.
I see the video, I think that I was like, damn, it's 6 out there, you know? Mm-hmm. It's crazy, bro.
How did he know there were 6 people there? The video that circulated online didn't show that many. I guess that's where Trap City slipped up, however. Despite how smoothly the counterattack went, Rob didn't boast about it. He claimed he was only doing what was necessary to protect his hood. That seems to hold weight, because a resurfaced video shows Trap City Rob chilling on the front porch of the very building where Lil Jeff was killed, calmly observing his surroundings, one fan pointed out. For real? This dude is like some troll in a cave. You don't even know he's there until it's too late. This is his spot, and he held it down. It's no surprise people started calling Rob the Defensive Player of the Year. During his interview with Block to Block, Rob explained why he was always posted on that porch, saying he's critically aware of his environment at all times.
I'm conscious, bro. Like, I'm in my environment, I understand the overall. You know what I'm saying?
This became even more evident during the same interview, where you could see Trap City, Rob, and his crew Black and Tara constantly scanning their surroundings, checking left and right for any potential threats. Damn Chicago is not for beginners. Trap City Rob then offered a glimpse into his mindset, revealing a deeper level of critical awareness. He claimed that drill rap is part of a larger scheme designed to pit black people against each other. Unfortunately, he said, many young black men have taken the bait, which is why they're so quick to turn on one another over the smallest conflict.
The black man is very underdeveloped and undereducated. No, just listen, bro. When it comes to emotional intelligence, reasoning, and people getting shot over shoes, and that's not being emotionally intelligent.
Trap City Rob's responses during the interview drew a wave of positive reactions from the hood. One user commented, "Rob is what you call a grown man." Another quickly added, "These dudes are mature. Jeff was just a little immature kid running up on some OGs." Jeff didn't think before he reacted. That's what separates a grown man from a little boy. OGs don't move the way Jeff did. OGs have rules and guidelines. The interviewer then brought up a viral meme from Reddit, where Rob's face was photoshopped onto Malcolm X's iconic photo, along with the caption, "Protect the Trap." The meme jokingly suggested that Rob should run for president, with people saying he'd dominate in politics. Trap City Rob acknowledged that he had seen the meme, but made it clear he's not chasing clout online. Trap City Rob is clearly smart and understands that bragging about the hit would only fuel the ongoing cycle of violence in the city. After all, the entire beef has been bloody. Every hood wants to slide for their fallen homie, keeping the hood war alive and an extinguished Abel. In a previous interview that explored Lil Jeff's lifestyle, the rapping hitman revealed that he had been in the streets since he turned 18.
So around what age did you jump off the porch and start hanging out in the streets?
I'm saying when I came outside for real, I was like 18.
However, Bloodhound Lil Jeff revealed that, although he jumped off the porch relatively late compared to his peers, he was no stranger to the streets. His older brother had already plugged him into the cruelty, violence, and lifestyle that came with it.
But I'm doing that. I've been seeing my whole life, you know what I'm saying? I told you I got an older brother. So it ain't nothing new for real. It's the same I've been seeing.
In case you didn't know, Lil Jeff's older brother is named J Boogie. Interestingly, the beef between Drill City and Trap City, which has claimed the lives of several young street boys, including Lil Jeff, actually started with older gangsters, like JBOOGIE. What you should also know is that J Boogie is in the same age group as Trap City Rob. And here's the key detail. Back in the day, these dudes were actually cool with each other. In an interview with Block to Block on YouTube, Trap City Rob confirmed that the two hoods used to have a good relationship until a Bloodhound member allegedly stole a chain from one of their homies. That's when everything went south.
They know what they did.
So, okay.
They know what they did.
So, okay, the Bloodhounds, y'all was cool.
That was my homie. He stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my homie chain.
But again, if you look closely, there's something deeper than what Rob said about the origin of the beef. At least for Bloodhound, Lil Jeff, the feud didn't start with a stolen chain. It began with the death of his cousin Zoni. Here's some background. Early in Lil Jeff's street life, his older brother J Boogie caught a charge and was sent to prison. With J Boogie behind bars, Lil Jeff's cousin, Zoni, also known as Z Money, stepped in and took on the role of an older brother. He helped Jeff with his dirt, gave him the spotlight, and played the role of a behind-the-scenes director. But Lil Jeff and the entire Bloodhound gang would soon suffer one of the most devastating losses in their history, an event that completely severed any lingering street alliances between Trap City and Drill City. On March 16, 2023, Zoni was killed. According to news reports, Zoni was sitting in his car on the 1300 block of East 79th Street. Zoni was hit and rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but unfortunately, he didn't survive. His death was a massive blow to the Bloodhounds, especially to Lil Jeff, who had relied on Zoni's protection ever since his brother's incarceration. After the murder, Lil Jeff and his right-hand man Q50, rumors about Zoni's killer began to spread online. On Reddit, whispers on the street suggested Zoni was backdoored by old friends from Trap City. That set off a wave of rage in Lil Jeff. He was restless, he was out for blood, and he had a target in mind. Lil Poo, a Trap City member who had been openly dissing Z Money, was still walking around freely, acting like everything was sweet. He was showing up in familiar places, waited for the right moment for his target to let their guard down, and he did just that. April 9th, 2023. That was the day it all went down. Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds had made up their minds. Lil Poo wasn't going to see the next summer, but Jeff didn't just roll up on him and spray the block. Instead, he waited outside Lil Poo's house patient as a watchdog. And when Lil Poo came home to rest his head, Jeff sent him to eternal rest, according to the Chicago Police Department. Shots were fired around 11:30 p.m. on the 1800 block of 223rd Street. When officers arrived, they found the victim, identified as Pierre Boozer Jr., responsive in his front yard. He had been shot multiple times and died at the scene. No one in the neighborhood spoke to police about the hit, but the streets already knew who the prime suspects were. Soon after, Lil Jeff made it known that the hit was a message. In an unreleased track, he reportedly dissed Lil Poo, hinting that he had waited for him and caught him slipping. Lil Poo dissed Z. Now Lil Poo gone. You know that underscore never take too long laying in the grass until he come home. Word on the street was that Lil Jeff never officially released the diss out of respect for a mutual homie from the flip side. But when Lil Poo's friend posted a tribute photo, Lil Jeff responded directly. He dissed Z for Jeff. That was the line that couldn't be crossed. No Zoni disrespect was going to be tolerated. But Lil Jeff didn't just slide for Zoni and disappear. He had tasted blood and he wanted more. Shortly afterward, he was back on the streets, hunting down more ops and sending them to early graves. One of the most well-known hits linked to Lil Jeff was the daylight double murder of BKN, Lil Rob, and Monty, caught entirely on surveillance camera. The tragic event unfolded at Innovations High School in downtown Chicago, in the Loop area. Around 12:30 p.m., Lil Rob and BKN Monty were leaving school for lunch, heading toward Washington Street and Wabash Avenue. Despite how busy the area was, as soon as Monty and Lil Rob approached the elevator structure, two cars pulled up. Armed men jumped out and opened fire, killing both teens. Surveillance footage shows Lil Rob and Monty casually walking toward the elevator, unaware of the danger ahead. If you look closely at the right side of the footage, you'll see a SUV pull up under the train tracks. They ran back to the vehicle and sped off, heading south on Wabash. CPD Deputy Chief John later confirmed that two cars pulled up and fired multiple rounds at a group of teenage boys.
When two cars pulled up and a group of individuals exited said vehicles, fired multiple times, striking two of the teenage students of Innovations High School. These individuals were taken to Northwestern Hospital where they succumbed to their injuries.
Eyewitnesses reported that between 10 to 15 gunshots rang out, and within seconds, the shooters had fled the scene. Local shopkeeper Muhammad Ashik described the sound of the gunfire from his perspective, saying it sounded like firecrackers.
Like a firecracker, like something like a firecracker, like a 10-15 shot. Boom, 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 boom.
If the shots sounded like firecrackers, that likely means at least one of the shooter's pistols was equipped with a switch, making it sound like explosives. It was a brutal hit, and much of the city was left mourning. Well, not the entire city, because shortly after the hit, the mastermind behind the operation began bragging about it. First, he hopped on Instagram Live, dropping hints that he had just taken out 2 targets, adding to his body count, asterisk.
Feel if I get mad enough, will start happening to me. Y'all know this by now. I went for like a week, and poof. Gotta go. After that one, poof. I came back, poof.
Lil Jeff was so cold that many drill fans wondered why he chased down Lil Rob and Monty with such precision. Here's the reason. Back in the day, Lil Rob and Monty allegedly robbed Lil Jeff of some of his jewelry. As disrespectful as that was, the two didn't stop there. They took to the internet and launched a spree of trolling and disses aimed at the Bloodhounds. The BKN boys even bragged about the robbery, claiming that the jewelry they stole was fake.
Tell the op. You taking so phones.
We got like 50K down. That fake AP they got.
Lil Rob and Monty flexed about the bounty price and showed off 2 watches they claimed to have grabbed from the hit. Hilariously, one of the watches was a fake iced-out piece designed to look like an original Audemars Piguet AP timepiece. Almost immediately, a Reddit user pointed out that the iced-out watch had a GLD logo on the Classpan online jewelry, store known for selling plated and therefore fake jewelry. When the news hit the streets, Lil Jeff hopped on Instagram Live, claiming that nobody had taken anything from him by force. According to him, the boys just wanted to take a look and ran off when he wasn't paying attention.
On my dead grandmother's head, if I'm lying, I'm down. God could come pull me out this car right now. I never took a dollar from nothing. A nigga said, let me take a picture, this, that, and that. I look up, the nigga then ran down. We all the way at the top of the staircase first off.
Shortly after, a YouTuber known as Word from the Trenches got Monty and some BKN members on his vlog, where they repeatedly flexed the watches they stole and bragged about the operation. On the same vlog, Monty received a FaceTime call from Blood, Hound Lil Jeff. In the intense conversation, Monty started by asking Lil Jeff where the J at, meaning, where is that jewelry? He then proceeded to show off the watch he stole from him. All the BKN boys did on that vlog was disrespect Lil Jeff and troll the entire Blood. Hound Gangand, Lil Jeff doesn't take disrespect lightly. Almost a year after the hit, the Chicago Police Department hit a milestone in their investigation and began making arrests. The first suspect was identified as Tommy Coleman, an affiliate of Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds. He was arrested on the 5700 block of North Mason and charged with double murder. Then, earlier this year, a second suspect was identified as James Allison, known on the street as J-Mo Bloodhound. Word on the street was that Lil Jeff was next in line before his tragic death. It's no surprise that when news began to circulate that Lil Jeff was killed by Trap City Rob, a fan declared, he killed Lil Rob. Now he got by Big Rob. Although a funny remark, it shows that there's no way out of gang violence other than death. But here's a big question. Why did Reddit pin Lil Jeff's death on Trap City Rob? The aftermath of Lil Jeff's death, as soon as news of Lil Jeff's death hit the streets. The city of Chicago was startled by a wave of trolling on the Reddit community, with most of the disses directed at the Hood allegedly responsible for sending Lil Jeff back to his maker. To protect their own. Members of Churicology, a subreddit dedicated to discussing Chicago drill culture, wasted no time identifying the killer. Discussions on Churicology alleged that the shooter was none other than Trap City Rob. This suspicion was largely because Trap City Rob, or Trap Rob, had been arrested several times at the apartment where the shots that killed Lil Jeff were fired. However, while some users were identifying the shooters, others were analyzing the video to identify the faces of the guys Lil Jeff was on the drill with. Remember the guy in the red jumpsuit? Fans identified him as Q50, and many trolled him for getting shot during the drill. However, Q50 denied being involved in the drill.
It make it worse when there's like videos and people reacting to it. And they were trying to say you slipped and fell, and you saying I wasn't even there, right?
I wasn't even there. Stop saying I was dumb.
Q50 might deny it all he wants, but the street is rarely wrong. In the same vein, Reddit investigators identified the guy in the yellow shorts who Lil Jeff was chasing as Trap City Glenn Dot in a shocking turn of events. That day wasn't the first time Lil Jeff had chased down Trap City Glenn. It's alleged that Lil Jeff once caught Glenn slipping at a store and fired 15 shots at him. Despite the ambush, Glenn always managed to survive. Then, a resurfaced video shows Lil Jeff talking about the time he chased down Glenn at the store, confirming the rumors circulating on the street.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Too bad is it that he get to see y'all. I'm glad though he can see y'all talk about him all day.
Well, 15 shots could have killed Glenn, but he survived. A fan quickly commented, "Damn, that's gotta be blessed for real. Grandma been praying for him" type. However, Lil Jeff was bent on killing Glenn and wasn't going to give up. After a trial, he went out again, but this time, he got caught shortly after the hit. Despite denying involvement, police documents show that Trap City Rob, born Robert Coleman, was arrested in connection with the homicide. Authorities believed there was probable cause for his arrest, because a witness identified and placed him at the crime scene where Lil Jeff was killed. According to the documents, surveillance officers spotted Trap City Rob entering and leaving his apartment on S. Rhodes Avenue, armed with a black firearm. It's important to note that the officers knew Rob was a convicted felon and gun offender, who was not legally allowed to possess a firearm. The report states that when police tried to take Trap City Rob into custody, he pulled away and refused to follow verbal instructions. He used dead weight to stiffen his body, making it difficult for the officer to handcuff him because of Rob's resistance. The officer had no choice but to use control techniques, escort holds, and an emergency takedown to get him into custody. During the struggle, a loaded black firearm fell off Rob's thigh. Even then, Rob continued to resist until another officer joined in and forced the cuffs onto his wrists. Due to Rob's size and resistance, 2 handcuffs were used, which caused injuries to his right wrist. However, Rob's actions had consequences. After being placed in the squad car, he was transported directly to the 2nd District lockup because of his behavior on the scene. In a shocking turn, an investigation into Rob's involvement in the homicide failed to prove he was the actual shooter. As a result, the murder charge against him was dropped, but because he was caught with a gun as a convicted felon, the gun charge remained, and he likely faces jail time for that. Following Rob's arrest, a wave of reactions and controversy erupted on Reddit. One user commented, "I ain't well-versed on Illinois self-defense laws, but it's insane to me that anybody would be charged with murder in this situation. Was it because they kept shooting him?" Another user responded, "There's no self-defense for overkill, maybe a couple shots, but not 19. While the debate focused on whether Lil Jeff's killer acted in self-defense, another Redditor was concerned about Rob's gun charge being dropped, saying, "Free as for that armed habitual, he proved that day why they made it a habit." To be honest, most fans share this perspective, which explains why Trap City Rob was praised for standing on business. After the incident, it almost feels like the entire case was solved on Reddit before the CPD even began their investigation. But here's a big question. If the police dropped Trap City Rob's murder charge, that means the real shooter is still out there. Who could it be? I stumbled across a Reddit user's words that I'd like to leave you with. I said, "Rob ain't pull it. The real shooter will probably never know because they're lying low and not publicly claiming it."